University Challenge. Asking the questions, Jeremy Paxman.
Hello. Two heavyweight red bricks are slugging it out tonight for a place in the second round. Whichever team loses needs to try to do so with a score among the four highest losing scores from these first-round matches, because that will put them in the playoffs with a final chance to stay in the contest. The University of Bristol began life as a university college in 1876 with 99 students who paid 7 shillings each for the privilege of registering, a rather poignant thought in this era of mounting student debt. It was helped to its royal charter in 1909 with financial support from the Fry and Wills families, who made their money in chocolate and cigarettes respectively. It tends to be one of the UK's most oversubscribed universities in terms of applications and has around 23,000 students who in the past have included the physicist and Nobel laureate Paul Dirac, the broadcaster Sue Lawley and the novelist David Nicholls, whose 2003 novel about student life had the familiar sounding title Starter for 10. Tonight's team have an average age of 22. Let's meet them.
Hello, I'm Eric Pollett. I'm from Hampton, London, and I'm reading Pathology and Microbiology.
Hello, I'm Catherine Evans from Worcester Park Surrey, and I'm reading Classical Studies.
And their captain.
Hello, I'm Harriet Robinson. I'm from Tewkesbury in Gloucestershire, and I'm reading Economics.
And I'm Alex Robertson from Lichfield in Staffordshire, and I'm reading Physics.
Now, Manchester University has fared well in this contest in recent years. They were runners-up in 2006 and semi-finalists last year, so always playing on home turf may serve them rather well. The university is believed to be Europe's largest campus, served, unsurprisingly, by Europe's busiest bus route, although it started out in 1851 as Owens College, a modest red brick building just outside these television studios. Ernest Rutherford proposed the model of the atom while at Manchester, and the pioneer of radio astronomy, Bernard Lovell, had his research team there. Tonight's team have an average age of just 1 year more than their opponents. They're 23. Let's meet them.
Hi, my name's Henry Patinas. I'm from Birmingham, and I'm studying for a PhD in pharmacokinetics.
Hi, I'm Ruben Roy. I'm from Manchester, and I'm a fourth-year medical student.
And their captain.
Hello, my name's Matthew Yo. I'm from Lichfield in Staffordshire, and I'm doing a PhD in the history of the book.
And I'm Simon Baker from Fleet in Hampshire, and I'm doing politics and history.
OK, rules are the same as ever. 10 points for starters, 15 for bonuses, 5-point penalties for incorrect interruptions to starter questions. Fingers on the buzzers. Here's your first starter for 10. Used principally in the US, which term means the supposed materialism, mediocrity or parochialism of small-town American life and comes from the title of a 1920 novel by Sinclair Lewis. It also refers to the principal thoroughfare of a town.
Manchester Patinas.
Main Street, USA.
Main Street is correct, yes. Your bonuses now are on genre fiction, Manchester. In H.G. Wells's War of the Worlds, what is the home planet of the aliens who invade Earth in tripedal fighting machines armed with heat rays?
Mars?
Correct. A novel sometimes described as theological science fiction about a philologist who lands on Mars and discovers its inhabitants to be intelligent and compassionate. Out of the Silent Planet, published in 1938, was by which author?
Lovecraft?
No, Heinlein? Lovecraft?
Heinlein.
Go for Heinlein.
Heinlein?
No, it was C.S. Lewis. Who was the author of, in 1826, of The Last Man, an apocalyptic novel set in the 21st century in which the protagonist observes wars and a pandemic killing off the world's population?
Philip K. Dick.
Yeah,
Sorry, what was it?
What year was it?
Williams?
What year was it?
Williamson?
Williamson?
No, it was Mary Shelley. 10 points for this. Variants of what given name link Frankish rulers whose nicknames include the Elder and the Short, a companion of Frodo, Sam and Merry?
Manchester Patinas.
Pippin.
Correct, yes. Pippin or Pepin or Pepin. Your bonuses are on Scotland, Manchester. Campbelltown is the main town of which Scottish peninsula whose southernmost promontory, or mull, is less than 20 miles from the Irish coast?
Kintyre, is that it? What's it? Mull of Kintyre. Yep. Mull of Kintyre.
The Mull of Kintyre?
Kintyre is correct. Only accessible on foot or by boat, Inverie is the main settlement of which peninsula in Loch Arbour, sometimes known as the Rough Bounds?
Okay. Shetland. No. Falklands.
No idea.
Right, let's have an answer.
Go.
No idea.
It's the Knoydart Peninsula. Noted for spectacular rock formations such as the Quiraing, Trotternish is the northernmost peninsula of which Scottish island?
Orkney?
No, it's Skye. Another starter question. Which poet wrote the following lines? Open wide the mind's cage door, she'll dart forth and cloudward soar. Oh, sweet fancy, let her loose. Summer's joys are spoilt by use, and the enjoying of the spring fades, as does its blossoming.
Manchester Baker.
Keats.
Keats is right, from Fancy. Right, Manchester, your latest set of bonuses are on heteronyms. That is, words with the same spelling but different pronunciations. Firstly, which heteronyms are the names of a port in Alabama and a type of kinetic art invented in the 1930s by Alexander Calder?
Yeah. A mobile?
And
Mobile.
it's mobile and mobile, yes, you've got it. Which two heteronyms are used to describe workers who have joined together for self-protection and a chemical compound that has not dissociated electrically?
Composite and composite.
Yeah.
So it's like
Yeah. Composite and composite. No.
composite.
Yeah.
Composite.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah.
Composite and
No,
composite?
it's unionised and unionized. And finally, which Indian film director and American photographer and Dadaist had heteronymic surnames?
Ray?
Ray.
Indian film director is the only one I know.
Ray.
I don't know what the other guy's called.
Nostrum. Matt Ray.
Rain and Ryan or something.
Sajithya Ray. is the
Ray.
other name.
Ray?
Specifically,
So, Man Ray.
His first name is
Man Ray.
Sajithya Ray. Yeah, try that.
Man Ray?
and...
Sajithya?
Sajithya Ray?
Yes, pronounced right. Well done.
Yep.
OK, 10 points for this starter question. In 1933, the Swiss astronomer and physicist Fritz Zwicky calculated that the mass of the galaxies in the Coma cluster was about 160 times greater than envisaged, leading him to propose the existence
Manchester Patines.
Dark matter.
of dark matter. You're right. Your bonuses are about an organic chemical, Manchester. A ripe banana speeds up the ripening of nearby fruit by giving off which gas that acts as a plant hormone?
Ethene or ethylene, it's the same.
It's the same thing.
Ethene?
Correct, or ethylene, yes. It's been suggested that inhaling ethylene of geological origin might have been responsible for the trance state achieved professionally by which important spokesperson in ancient Greece?
The Oracle.
The Oracle?
Delphi.
At Delphi?
Correct. The thermoplastic resin made by the chlorination of ethylene and subsequent polymerization of the product is known by which three initials?
Polyethylene? PET?
PET.
Yeah.
PET?
No, it's PVC. Right, Bristol, you maybe get going with this picture question. Your picture starter is a flag of a British city. 10 points if you can identify the city.
Manchester Baker.
Portsmouth.
No, anyone to buzz from Bristol?
Bristol Robinson.
Plymouth.
No, that is Belfast. The clue is the bell. 10 points for this starter question. Picture bonuses in a moment or two. In 1980, which European country changed its constitution to recognise cognatic primogeniture so that Princess Victoria, the reigning king's firstborn child, could eventually succeed to the throne as Queen Regnant?
Manchester Patines.
The Netherlands?
No, anyone to buzz from Bristol?
Bristol Pollitt.
Denmark.
No, it's Sweden. Another starter question. Marking the most easterly point of the Iberian Peninsula, the rocky promontory of Cap de Cruz was an influential landscape in the works of which painter born 1904 in the nearby town of Figueres?
Manchester Baker.
Dali.
Salvador Dali's right. So, following on from the flag of Belfast, which no one managed to identify, three more flags representing British cities, 5 points for each. Firstly,
Newcastle. Is it Newcastle or Port? Newcastle?
Yeah, try.
Yeah, go for it.
Newcastle?
no, that's Edinburgh. Secondly,
Belfast? No, it's not Belfast.
Cardiff.
Birmingham? I don't know.
Durham.
Durham?
No. Primary purple. No.
Huh?
Let's try. No, God, no idea. Durham. Sheffield. No.
let's have an answer, please.
Manchester?
No, that's Durham. Finally.
Well, somewhere
Cardiff.
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 It is Cardiff, yes. 10 points for this. 24 Sussex Drive in Canada, The Lodge in Australia, and Premier House in New Zealand.
Manchester Roy.
Residents of the...
No, you lose 5 points. Are their countries' respective equivalents of which address in Britain?
Bristol Robinson.
10 Downing Street.
Correct, yes. Your bonuses are on writing about food, Bristol. Credited with introducing regional Italian and French cooking to Britain in the post-war austerity years, which cookery writer's first volume was Mediterranean Food in 1950?
Elizabeth David.
Correct. Having published a successful volume of poetry in 1826, who produced her Modern Cookery in 1845, introducing the practice of listing ingredients and specifying cooking times, and serving as a model for the later works of Mrs. Beeton?
Sorry, we don't know.
That was Eliza Acton. And finally, what ubiquitous foodstuff did the writer Nigel Slater use for the title of his autobiographical book of 2004, subtitled The Story of a Boy's Hunger?
Sorry, can't remember.
Called it toast. 10 points for this. A 13-kilometre series of double-decked bridges connecting Okayama and Kagawa prefectures. The Seto Bridge is in which Asian country?
Manchester Patines.
Japan.
Japan is right. Your bonuses, Manchester, are on a Latin word, meaning come to rest. What Latin word was formerly used for a knight exempt from the claim of scutage or knight's fee and was subsequently applied to any discharge as of an account or even of life itself?
Come to rest.
Memoir.
Decease.
Yeah.
Decease.
It's quietus. Which of Shakespeare's characters considers the act of suicide with the words, he himself might his quietus make with a bare bodkin?
Ophelia. I don't know. Romeo, Juliet.
Hamlet.
It was Hamlet, yes. Quietus is an institutionalised form of mass suicide in which novel by P.D. James, a film version of which, directed by Alfonso Cuarón, was released in 2006?
Children of Men.
Correct. Another starter question. From the 1920s, the Serbian mathematician Milutin Milankovic advanced the hypothesis that identified a combination of various factors governing the occurrence...
Manchester Patines.
Ice Ages.
Correct. Your bonuses are on a letter of the alphabet, Manchester. Which term was coined by Jane Deverson in 1964 for a study of British teenagers commissioned by Woman's Own magazine? Her article concluding that they sleep together before they're married, don't believe in God, dislike the Queen and don't respect their parents.
What do they want? The answer is Generation X.
X.
Generation X is correct. Lex, or the X, was a nickname given to which French politician after he left the office of president in 1981 to be succeeded by François Mitterrand?
Valéry Giscard d'Estaing.
Correct. Built for the Royal Navy during the Second World War, the vessels codename X-Craft were prominent in action against the German battleship Tirpitz in 1943 and were which particular type of submarine?
Midget.
Midget submarines.
That's right. We're going to take a music round now. For your music starter, you'll hear a cover version of a well-known pop song. 5 points if you can identify the artist performing it and the name of the song.
Straight to my lover's heart for me. Nobody but me. You better please hear my cry.
Manchester Patines.
Amy Winehouse. Cupid, draw back your bow. Cupid's arrow.
I'll accept that, yeah.
Okay.
It was actually just called Cupid. It was Amy Winehouse, and it's originally performed by Johnny Nash in 1969. She was covering it to celebrate the 40th anniversary of Radio 1 in 2007. So you're going to get 3 more cover versions for your bonuses. In each case, you have to identify the covering performers and the name of the original performers. Firstly, for 5 points.
Better in a club down at Soho where you drink champagne and it tastes just like cherry cola. C-O-L-E cola. She walked up to me and she asked me to dance, and when I asked her name
Then it's again. You might slow.
Lola by the Kings. The Kings, whatever.
Who's covering it?
Come on.
Jack Johnson? And
No, it's Robbie Williams, and it was originally performed, of course, by the Kinks. Secondly,
When she woke up late in the morning light and the day had just begun, she opened up her eyes and thought, oh, what's the moment? It's not a day for work, it's a day for catching sun. Just laying on the beach and having fun. She's going to get you.
let's have it, please.
Ace of Base, isn't it?
Ace of Base, yeah.
Pete Doherty and Ace of Base.
Pete Doherty and Ace of Base.
No, you got half of it again. It's the Kooks and Ace of Base. And finally,
Jam television. Yeah. Arctic Monkeys and the Jam.
Arctic Monkeys and the Jam.
no, again, you got half of it. It was McFly and the Jam. 10 points for this. In which canonical book of the Bible is there a description of a beast distinguished by the number of a man and the number of...
Manchester Baker.
Revelation.
Revelation is right. You get a set of bonuses, Manchester, on taxation. What was the name of the tax to support the Navy levied by the English Crown on coastal districts until it was abolished by Parliament in 1641?
The ship tax.
Window?
The ship tax.
The ship
No,
tax.
it's ship money is what it was called. Income tax was first introduced in Britain during the administration of which Prime Minister?
Lord George. Sorry,
The 1700s, wasn't it?
William Pitt then. William Pitt.
William Pitt the Younger.
Correct. During which decade was value-added tax introduced in the UK in place of purchase tax?
70s, I think.
70s or 60s?
I'd say 70.
1960s.
Sure. I think I said
1970s, yeah.
Okay.
The 1970s.
Correct. Another starter question. Frequently quoted out of context, the line, "The first thing we do, let's kill all the lawyers," occurs in which of Shakespeare's history plays spoken by Dick the Butcher?
Manchester Patines.
Henry V?
Anyone want to buzz from Bristol?
Bristol Evans.
Richard II?
No, it's Henry VI, Part 2. 10 points for this. In mathematics, what Latin-derived term denotes a mapping of one space onto another or onto itself? Examples in geometry, including rotations...
Manchester Patines.
Transform?
Transformation is right. Your bonuses are on zoology. From the Greek for away and sign, what term describes the conspicuous markings borne by certain species as a warning to potential predators that they're poisonous or otherwise to be avoided?
Warning? I don't know.
Warning.
Warning symbol? I don't know.
Come on, let's have it.
Warning symbols.
It's aposematic. What term is used to describe the type of camouflage demonstrated by species such as Biston bestulia, or peppered moth, which enables it to be almost indistinguishable from its background?
Camouflage? Mimicry? No, mimicry's for predators.
Mimicry then.
Let's have it then.
Camouflage, go for camouflage.
Camouflage.
It's cryptic camouflage. Henry Walter Bates and Fritz Müller lend their names to two forms of coloured defence mechanism particularly associated with butterflies and known by what term?
Batesian mimicry, isn't it?
Go for it.
Batesian mimicry.
Yeah, I think so.
Batesian mimicry.
It is mimicry, yes. 10 points for this. A tree with reddish-brown wood, a revolutionary born in 1783, a Genoese explorer, and the 0 degrees parallel of latitude all give their names to countries in which continent?
Bristol Robinson.
Latin America.
Yeah, South America's correct, yes. 3 questions on European football then, Bristol. At last. Which European country's Premier League is known as the Eredivisie?
Italy.
No, it's the Netherlands or Holland. By what name is France's Premier League known?
La Ligue.
No, it's Le Championnat. In Italian football, what name is given to the trophy won by the club that tops Serie A?
No idea, sorry.
It's called the Scudetto. We're going to take a second picture round now. For your picture starter, you'll see a group photograph of a newly elected British cabinet. 10 points if you can tell me the year the photo was taken.
Manchester Patines.
1979.
It was Thatcher's first cabinet. So for your picture bonuses, you're going to see close-ups of individual members of Margaret Thatcher's first cabinet. In each case, name the figure circled. Firstly, who is the figure at A?
Jeffrey Howe.
Jeffrey Howe.
Yes, Jeffrey Howe.
Jeffrey Howe.
Yes. Who's B?
Willie Whitelaw.
Yes. And C?
Michael Heseltine.
Easy, eh? 10 points for this. Based on a play by Victorian Sardou, which Puccini opera ends with the eponymous heroine throwing herself off the ramp?
Manchester Roy.
Tosca.
Yes. Your bonuses are on a sea, Manchester. What name is given to the sea that includes the gulfs of Riga, Finland and Bothnia?
The Baltic Sea.
Correct. With their main settlement at Mariehamn, which islands at the entrance to the Gulf of Bothnia became an autonomous and demilitarised part of newly independent Finland in 1921?
The Åland Islands.
Yes, they're pronounced Åland Islands. Which EU capital lies almost directly south of Helsinki on the Gulf of Finland?
Oslo? Copenhagen? Copenhagen? Is it like Riga or something? Riga?
Yeah, man.
Vilnius? Vilnius?
Tallinn.
Tallinn is correct. 10 points for this starter question. In North America, duck hawk is an alternative name for which bird? One of the world's fastest, otherwise known...
Manchester Patines.
Peregrine falcon.
Correct. Your bonuses, Manchester, are on religion. What religious term does the Catechism of the Book of Common Prayer define as an outward and visible sign of an inward and spiritual grace?
Aura? Or charisma?
Come on.
Aura?
Or charisma?
No, it's sacrament. According to the Catechism, Christ hath ordained 2 sacraments as generally necessary to salvation. What are they?
Baptism.
Baptism, communion.
It's communion, isn't it?
Yeah, it will be.
Baptism, communion.
Baptism and Eucharist?
Correct. Subsection 1113 of the Catechism of the Roman Catholic Church recognises how many sacraments?
7. 12? 7?
Come on.
7.
7?
7 is right. 5.5 minutes to go. 10 points for this. Work this out if you don't know it already. What is minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit expressed in Celsius?
Bristol Pollitt.
Minus 40.
Well done. Beginning to think you'd gone home. Your questions are on coronation anthems, Bristol. Born in 1765 and a pupil of Mozart's, the organist and composer Thomas Attwood wrote the anthem, "O Lord, grant the King a long life," for the coronation of which monarch?
What's the date again? 65, he was born, so George II.
Let's have an answer.
George II?
It's William IV. Handel's anthem, Zadok the Priest, has been performed at every coronation since that of which monarch?
King Edward VI. King Edward VI.
Edward VI?
Edward VI. No, it's George II. Henry Purcell's anthem, My Heart is Inditing, was written in 1685 for the coronation of which king?
James II.
James II?
Yes. 10 points for this. In 2007, which title was shared for only the 4th time in its history when Seb Sanders and Jamie...
Manchester Baker.
The Flat Jockeys Championship.
The Flat Racing Jockeys Championship was right. Your bonuses are on medicine, Manchester. What name is given to those small branches of the arteries leading to the capillaries, which by constriction and dilation under the regulation of the sympathetic nervous system are the principal controllers of blood flow and pressure?
Arterioles?
Correct. Low blood pressure or hypotension may be a symptom of various medical conditions. What is the cause of orthostatic hypotension?
Standing up from a seated or lying position.
Standing up from a seating...
Suddenly standing up, yes, from a prone position. Which artery, extending from the axillary artery at the armpit down the side and inner surface of the arm to the elbow, is used in taking blood pressure readings?
The brachial artery.
The brachial artery?
Correct. 3 minutes to go, 10 points for this. Of whom was Giorgio Vasari speaking when he said he might have been a scientist if he hadn't been so versatile?
Bristol Pollitt.
Leonardo da Vinci.
Correct. Your bonuses are on towers, Bristol. In which of Edward I's Welsh castles situated on the River Siont is the Eagle Tower to be found?
Carnarvon?
Correct. Which fictional detective and poet is the hero of The Black Tower, first published 1975?
Sorry, I don't know.
That's Adam Dalgleish by P.D. James. The Martello Tower at Sandy Cove near Dunleary houses a museum to which writer who briefly lived in it?
Sorry.
That's James Joyce, 2.5 minutes, 10 points for this. The painter Frank Brangwyn, the priest Father Damien, who ministered to the leper colony of Kalaupapa, the American inventor and chemist Leo Bakerland, and the actress Audrey Hepburn were all born in which country?
Manchester Patines.
Belgium.
Belgium is right. At last, the answer to the question to name famous Belgians, eh? Your bonuses are on mythology. In Greek mythology, although they were formerly called the Erinyes, the Furies were better known by what euphemistic name?
Spites. Spites, I think.
The Spites? The Spites?
No, the Eumenides. In the Oresteia of Aeschylus, the Eumenides hound Orestes to madness for which crime?
Killing his...
Son.
No, mother or father, I can't remember.
Killing his father.
Killing his father?
No, it was killing his mother. What was the title of T.S. Eliot's 1939 drawing room comedy loosely based on the Oresteia?
Inspector... Who's the author? Who's the...
T.S. Eliot.
Murder at Thebes?
Go for that.
Murder at Thebes?
No, it was the family reunion. 10 points for this. The Trinidad, San Antonio and Santiago were among the 5 ships of which explorer's fleet when he left Seville in 1519?
Bristol Pollet.
Magellan.
Magellan is right, yes. Your bonuses, Bristol, are on European national parks. Established in 1990, the Harz National Park takes its name from the most northerly range of mountains in which EU member state?
Poland?
No, it's Germany. The Plitvice Lakes National Park was granted UNESCO World Heritage status in 1979 and is a major tourist attraction in which European country?
Poland?
No, it's Croatia. Including a valley noted for thousands of Bronze Age rock carvings, the Mercantour National Park is in which country?
France?
France is right. 10 points for this. Also sometimes known as Archimedes' constant and Ludolph's constant, what real number is defined as the ratio of a circle's circumference to its diameter?
Manchester Patines.
Pi.
Yes. Your bonuses are on sport, Manchester. Riding Through the Storm is an account of which former and at the gone Bristol have 70, Manchester have 285. No disguising it, it's a rubbish score, Bristol. But it could have been a great deal worse, and you did start coming back towards the end, but you were up against a steamroller. Manchester, you were on fantastic form, and we shall look forward to seeing you in stage 2 of the contest. I hope you can join us next time for another first-round match, but until then, it's goodbye from Bristol University.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
It's goodbye from Manchester University.
Bye.
And it's goodbye from me. Goodbye.
Is it next stop Downing Street for David Cameron? Panorama on BBC One now. What to eat now on BBC Two with pumpkin soup, one of the suggestions. And patience and lateral thinking required on BBC Four in Victoria Corran's new quiz, Only Connect.